So I left out a pretty crucial detail in the first video, and that is we won't be using the info addicts in the 62 Civ mod. You can't use info addicts with the way that it's built so far in the Steam Workshop, so we're gonna really need to pay attention to what Civ is actually winning this campaign. Yeah, I'm not really sure how like mods and scripts and lines work, coding works. I don't even know if I'm saying all those terms right. But yeah, for some reason this 62 Civ mod and info addicts don't work together. Not at the moment, at least. So that's it. That's gonna be huge. I'm really gonna need you guys to help. To let me know. I mean, we obviously still have the demographics. We can look into the demographics, but I mean, honestly, the demographics doesn't show nearly as much information about things in general. Things like I don't know. Things like population. We can look at in depth who's in last place, who's in first place. You know, we can't do that as much, but there are still going to be ways around it. I believe that there are. I've learned a few tips and tricks after playing Civ for like 2,000 hours, where we can look a little bit deeper into information just through without mods. So I think we're gonna be okay, but it's gonna be interesting to see. I cannot wait. Now, we tend to usually choose the winner through a voting system, and that's through a voting through the straw poll. Obviously, we're able to limit it down to there will be a handful of great powers that will slowly arise, anywhere between maybe 4 or 5. I actually don't know because there's 62 civs. Who knows? And this is a huge map, so there might be maybe 6 or 7 great powers by the end of this. I don't even know. But yeah, for those of you that are very interested in the series, I do ask that you try to maybe pay close attention to maybe some of those civs, maybe some of the things that I'm not able to look at. So we have our first war that broke out, bam, turn 52. That isn't very surprising, and it's because of Rome's expansion. I've seen this before. I think we've seen this before in a previous world battle, where Rome tends to be expansive in the beginning. There we go. The processing just like had me stay there for a second. We've seen Rome do this before, where they get off to like a really fast start, and they tend to settle too many cities, and people get mad. People in Europe get angry. Now, Spain is a little bit too far away to attack Augustus, and so is Germany. Germany has kind of got screwed now that I think about it. Berlin is sandwiched in between the Netherlands and Poland and Austria. Actually, no, just Austria. We have another war that just broke out. Germany going up against Poland, and Russia. They will also be going at Poland. Now, something to keep in mind is that usually there's not going to be any cities taken. It's nice to see that these conflicts begin, but there's probably not going to be any cities taken within the first maybe 20 turns of these initial wars starting out. The most important thing to look at is the civs that start to lose military manpower because of the wars they declared too early. So we could see someone like Russia, who declared this offensive war against Poland, start to lose, handful of units, and that might be enough for someone like the Huns, who are at peace right now, to go and take some cities. That could happen vice versa too, though. Russia could declare an offensive war. They could do enough damage, but not take the cities, but do enough damage to the Polish military, where Novgorod has enough troops to just walk into the city and take it. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. But to no big surprise, Europe breaks out into war first, and that is kind of a common theme that we always tend to see, even when Europe is not super consolidated. Now, will Rome settle north of Sparta, or will they continue to move out towards the east? That's the next question. It looks like Greece is going to stop them. Well, it depends on, I guess, I don't know. They need to settle right there, though. They desperately need to settle right there. As long as... I'm surprised that I'm actually really surprised that a coalition wasn't formed against Rome. I think it might be after this 5th city. If Austria goes after them, the Netherlands, maybe France, it's going to be a lot tougher for Augustus to hold on to all 5 of these cities, especially Greece and Austria, because this city is going to be completely without any sort of reinforcements. So that will be a concern for them. Byzantium, I love to see Byzantium actually do something. I think they finally have enough room to settle a city. Yep, Rome is going to have to... I think they're going to be forced to settle a coastal Adriatic city, Adriatic Sea city. Well, Antium is already involved in that sea, but they'll probably have to get another one there. Portugal surrounding Spain, doing a great job. They might even steal away the Rock of Gibraltar. How's Morocco doing? Morocco's doing fine. Sub-Saharan. I really have big hopes for the sub-Saharan region, man. I would love, you have no idea how happy I would be if we see the Ashanti colonize in Latin America. That'd be so cool. Ooh, but Chile, wow, Latin America is going nuts right now. Again, this is what I'm saying, man. I'm not going to be able to watch over all this stuff. It's going to be so crazy. It is going to be so crazy when I go to different continents and just see constantly different things going on. Texas, settling Houston, that's good. How's America doing? America tends to be way too aggressive with their settling, but I'd really like to see a strong Washington. We have, I mean, this might be hard to believe, but we've never seen America do good in one of these AI-only battles. Never. I cannot remember the last time they've done good. Maybe in the North American battle. I can't remember that far back. That was several months ago. I know that they were included in that. It was the North American native battle, but we'll see. It usually Washington is too aggressive. They settle too many cities at once, kind of like what Rome is doing in Rome. In Europe, Rome is doing in Europe, and everyone declares war on him. But he seems to be going at a good pace with 3 cities. Canada's got 4. So, you know, who knows? He's just got to make it to his Minutemen. Those unique units are pretty powerful, so that's what he needs to wait for. California still has not settled their second city, but they've got 3 settlers up to the north. The Shoshone really hurts California by settling to the south. Timac, something like that. We got the Congo, grabbing the Temple of Artemis, which is a very good wonder. Additional food, and I think he had to go tradition to grab that wonder. But that's very good for him. Bam, another war, and this time again in Europe. So the Dutch decided to go after Austria, which is very good for Augustus. He needs to worry though, because now he's going to be after it with Germany, Austria, and Spain. Well, Spain is getting locked off, so they're okay. But with Germany and Austria maybe working together, well, they've got a while before open borders, so he's going to have to squeeze through these 2 tiles to go after this northern Roman city. But so far, it might be, I don't know. These wars will probably last for like 50 turns. They won't peace out for a while because there's just so many different things happening with the numbers. Oh, how's Norway doing? Look at Norway. Whoa, Norway looks like they're going to go crazy. Start to just take over all of Scandinavia. That's cool. Queen Victoria. I love it. I love it. I love to see it. I'd like to really see a good Great Britain here. We've seen a Great Britain, a good Great Britain a few times in the past. France settling like pretty much modern day France. We've seen a few times that Great Britain has. I think they've won once, and in the previous campaign, in the team-based campaign, they did really well. But they also were working with Spain, so you know it's hard to say. How's China doing? China's really working on their military, and Korea decided to go over towards southern Chinese lands. Tibet settling. Oh man, the border war is going to be very real here. Siam and the Champa also getting down their second city. I think everyone has the second city. I think this might be one of the first campaigns where... Oh, Kimberley hasn't settled. Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they did. Okay. Ooh, that was pretty aggressive, Kimberley. You are quite close to Australia. That's not going to make them too happy. Also, New Zealand is very large, so this will be a very good island, too. The Southern Island and the Northern Island will be good for Australia or Kimberley to settle. But more than likely, I think that we're going to see a lot of colonization from Eastern Asia, too. Maybe even Indonesia. Indonesia going for their 4th city. Oh, man, there's so many exciting things that are happening. So many different exciting things. On this map, it really changes a lot. Actually, this might be the only civ that hasn't settled their second city, which they've got a lot of land. That's worrisome. I hope that they settle. Assyria hasn't either, and neither have the Ottomans. So I guess there's quite a few. But for the most part, most people have settled. I hope that they eventually get up a settler, because sometimes we see that. We see that too often. The Ashanti doing pretty well so far, although I think they should have settled a coastal city instead. Carthage moving down to the south. Ethiopia feeling the threat as Egypt moves to the south instead of towards northern Africa, maybe for the Suez Canal. They didn't do that. Ethiopia always a very, very strong civ if they decide to play tall. The AI tends to do different things sometimes. The Zulu and the Boer both don't have their second city just yet either. Just looking at the minimap, I mean, it's going to be such crazy borders. Europe is already looking insane. And Russia's kind of building a wall to keep Europeans out of, I guess, going more towards Siberia. This is the first religion that has been founded, and it's been founded by Korea. That's big, as well as for my pick of China. That's not good. Because, I mean, I don't know their beliefs. We'll look into their beliefs, but I'm going to try to take note of all the religions that are founded. I mean, let's just make sure that I haven't skipped over. Yeah, there's only just one. And there can only be 6 more that can be founded. So yeah, there will be only 7 religions out of 61 civs. So yeah, there will be a significant advantage if they have good founder beliefs, because there will be a lot of cities to convert over. So religion will play an even bigger role, I think, in this AI-only battle than it naturally does. Bam, look at that, Texas. There you go. Good for you, Texas. Getting up the statue of Zeus. I believe, geez, I know that I tend to mistake the... oh, no, I'm thinking Terracotta Army. Never mind. Statue of Zeus, never mind. I was going to say, I usually get the Statue of Zeus wrong, like that, the things that you get out of that. Okay, good. Los Angeles and San Francisco have been settled by California. We've got the Chinook moving up towards the north, even with another city. How are the Sioux doing? Sioux doing really well. Actually, the Shoshone seem to be pretty quiet. Yeah, the colonization, it's going to be ugly. The border gore is going to be very, very ugly. Surprised that nothing has broken out in Latin America just yet. I figured we'd see a lot more of that, but not so much. You know, Latin America, I was talking about how Indonesia has tons of jungles, but no, it's actually Latin America that has tons of jungle, which means lots of science. Lots and lots of science. I don't know if that would be enough. And first of all, it's going to be very hard, I think, for one of these 5 civs to unite Latin America. I think that it's going to be too crazy and too big of a map. I think it's going to be a constant back and forth. That's what we saw in the previous world battle that we did between, I think it was it Colombia and Argentina? They were never able to fully take each other out. And because this is a bigger map and because there's even more civs involved in this continent, I think it's going to be even harder. I think 2 civs might be eliminated by the end of the campaign, but I think there's going to be a constant 3-way battle. Now, if I'm wrong about that, if one civ does consolidate here, then I think it's safe to say that they would definitely be in the running as a great power. Easily. Easily. So far for the European wars, nothing's going on. Like I said, I didn't think that there'd be much going on. Wow, is Portugal going to settle there, or is it going to be Rome's... Oh, so Rome just moved away from the Balkan states and over towards Iberia. That will definitely slow them down a little bit. If they got up that 4th city faster, that might be good, but at the same time, they risked really upsetting a lot of AIs. How the Vandals doing? Vandals still don't have a settler just yet, but they have been focusing in on building a military. That's something that I've been noticing. Bam, the Zulu. There you go. Zulu going to move just off towards the east of the Boer. Maybe they will go after Madagascar. I don't know. There's a lot of shallow lands. The shallow lands can reach any part of the old world. If you start off in the old world, you can pretty much get to any other region in the old world, even to Australia. However, not when it comes to North or South America, which makes things interesting. There are ways to do it, but the AI would never figure it out. There's no way the AI would figure it out, I don't think. I'd be very, very surprised. Maybe right at the end, right when caravels get discovered, we might see 1 or 2 scouts from Europe or Eastern Asia discover this land. Wow, Canada is going nuts here. In kind of the Nova Scotia, Newfoundland region. Washington better be ready for this. So Russia getting involved in another war, this time against Byzantium. Greece also. Now, this, I think, could lead to some interesting results. Not so much the Russian declaration of war against Theodora, but more on the Greek side of things. Because Greece has more units. They've been focusing more on the military. But Constantinople is always a tough city to take, naturally. Its placement is going to be tough. Now, if the Ottomans join in, maybe. If the Ottomans decide to maybe run over here, then possibly. And I didn't realize that the Byzantium was going on both sides. Anatolia and north of Constantinople, north of Black Sea. I mean, they're going after both regions here. Okay, so what is this? Tibet has founded Buddhism. So that's big for Tibet. Because I don't know. I think Tibet tends to play tall. They don't tend to go too... Ooh, Germany's pieced out. Maybe not. I mean, they got a 3rd settler very soon. 3rd city coming out soon. But that's interesting. Tibet might have a better chance. Germany piecing out. Now, did Germany ever get a 2nd city? They did. Hamburg has been settled. So that's good for them. If they could take over Salzburg, then they might have a chance here. It just really depends on if Austria... Who takes over each other? Is it going to be Austria or Germany? That's who we're going to see, I guess, a bigger power remain in the campaign. Because I think these two civs are ultimately going to have to go to war with each other. And when they do, whoever's the most successful, I think they'll be pretty powerful, and they'll remain alive. Although Greece might maybe take Vienna over, that's entirely possible. We've seen Greece, I think, very successful in the past. They've had successful campaigns. They haven't won anything, I don't believe. I've done so many of these that I don't remember all of the results. Bam. Yep, Rome did settle there. They've got 5 cities in Europe, too. Now, if they can just hold on to all this stuff, well, actually, remember that they're still at war with Spain, and now Spain's moving over. Spain desperately needs this. Yes, there's a lot of cities. I apologize. There's a lot of cities or civs that have not settled their second city just yet. But I don't think it's because of a glitch. It just is because they're working on more of a military. Because if it was a glitch, then they wouldn't be moving. We'd see a settler, and it wouldn't move. Okay, so that might distract Spain a little bit if they go towards Carthage. But the Vandals also declared. So this is, I think, we're going to see the first successful war. The Vandals have tons of units. Gades is somewhat unprotected here. A warrior and an archer. Well, they've got a third archer and a second warrior and a second archer that could help. They're gonna need to bring in some reinforcements. I don't know. It's gonna be close. And I think this region is about to break out into war. We've got Songhai that needs to settle something here. Problem is, a lot of the good land has already been taken. How's the Congo doing? Congo, very, very close together. Obviously, we have removed the minimum requirement to settle a city, so it doesn't have to be, it could be 2 tiles away, technically. All right, here come the wars. So we have the first... Okay, well, hold on. Let's address the Middle Eastern War. Arabia versus Egypt, that always breaks out. Ethiopia, going to come and, I guess, help out Ramses a little bit. That's kind of a big deal because Ethiopia is a big army. They probably could have rolled over Egypt, but instead, they're not going to have very much luck attacking Arabia across the Red Sea. Now, the Central American, I guess, North American War. We've got the Iroquois and the Mayans, and the Chinook and the Mayans. Why is that? There must have been a city that was settled that they didn't like. Yeah, probably the Chichen Itza, right here, kind of along Alabama territory. That probably made them a little bit upset. So the Iroquois might move down towards that area. Boom! Rome's going to keep their city. Rome is going to keep that city, which really hurts Indonesia getting up the Great Lighthouse. That's big. That's very, very big. They're obviously going to be a naval powerhouse. That's impressive. Here go the Vandals. That's a lot of embarked units, though. That's the only thing. It's a lot of embarked units. I don't know if that's the best strategy. They're going to lose a lot because obviously Gades is going to bombard and have a lot of success hitting those units out in the ocean like that. Ooh, Russia's still pushing. They're still trying. I think it depends on what Novgorod does. Denmark settling modern-day Finland, it looks like. But anyways, guys, turn 83. More wars going to be breaking out. Like I said, we weren't going to have very many successful wars just yet, but they will be coming because there's a lot of civs with a ton of units. So they will be coming. Probably in the next video, I think we'll see our first city fall. And 5 cities for Indonesia. That's awesome. And Kimberly very aggressive with their expansion towards Australia. Anyways, guys, I'm going to stop right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.